dare you to try and stop me from going into a women's bathroom. It will be the last mistake you ever make.
I'm a little trans girl, small and cute.
I'm a trans woman, and I'm proud.
I'm about to go and use the bathroom because I have to tinkle. If I get stopped, I guess, but I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom.
One last personal fact, most trans kids know that they're trans between the ages of 3 and 7. My daughter knew around 2.5.
Welcome back to another video. My name is Alizea and I'm here for Black transsexual. Get up into the big purr, whatever. I'm back. Before we get into today's video, because girl, today's video is going to be a little controversial, I want to give a special shout out to my channel members. Hey, Bookie Bears. If you want to get early access to any of my content, girl, all you have to do is spend $2.99 to $3.99. I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg just to watch some videos, girl. No tea, no shade, girl. That's ghetto.
Yeah, get into it.
So today's video is going to be the downfall in the trans community, and girl, this one is very controversial, so buckle up. I hope I don't get canceled, girl. So bada bing, bada boom. But there was a time when being openly trans was an act of pure resistance, when the community's message was just simple: we just wanted to exist in peace. But lately, something's changed. The conversation around trans people feels louder, angrier, and somehow less about real trans lives. And I've noticed the surge in transphobia, and that's what we're seeing today. This video isn't about tearing down trans people. It's asking what went wrong. How did we get to this point? All these debates and conversations, we're going to dive into it today. Bada bing, bada boom. Chapter 1, where we started. The trans movement wasn't built on hashtags or clout. It was built on survival. People like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera were fighting police brutality, homelessness, and discrimination. Back then, activism meant protecting each other. It wasn't messy. It wasn't risky. It was just completely community driven.
Y'all better quiet down. I've been trying to get up here all day for your gay brothers and your gay sisters in jail. They write me every motherfucking week and ask for your help. And you all don't do a goddamn thing for them. And they write Star, not the women's group. They do not write women. They do not write men. They write Star, because we're trying to do something for them. But you all tell me to go and hide my tail between my legs. I will not put up with this shit. I have been beaten. I have had my nose broken. I have been thrown in jail. I have lost my job. I have lost my apartment for gay liberation. And you all treat me this way? What the fuck's wrong with you all? Think about that. I believe in the gay power. I believe in us getting our rights, or else I would not be out there fighting for our rights. That's all I wanted to say to your people. Come and see the people at Star House on 12th Street. The people that are trying to do something for all of us, and not men and women that belong to a white middle class club. And that's what you all belong to. Revolution now! Gay power.
Why are you here today?
Darling, I want my gay rights now. I think it's about time the gay brothers and sisters got their rights. And especially the women.
How will this affect you and your job?
Darling, I don't have a job. I'm on welfare. I have no intention of getting a job as long as this country discriminates against homosexuals. There's only homosexuals, bisexuals, and trisexuals, darling. And there's no straight people. Because it is trying out women, honey.
There are 15 million lesbians and gay men waiting to hear your voice. We are are coming out of the closet, when are you gonna come out of yours?
I just hope when I die, God forgives me for what I have made my life, and that I think that he knew what I was going to be the day I was born. I think he had this all planned out to find out how I would take this and how I would carry it. You know what I'm saying?
Chapter 2, the rise of influencer activism. Social media gave a platform to countless trans creators, people sharing their journeys, educating others, building communities, and that's amazing. But with that came a new wave of influencer activism. Suddenly, visibility wasn't just about helping others, it was about building personal brands. Some creators started polarizing and prioritizing outrage over education. They learned that the more that their content comes off dramatic and outrageous, the more engagement they got.
That is fancy looking. Cool.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Oh, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. And the middle one is from India. It's the papadom with the ginger pancetta.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. It just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave.
Creators like Lilly, Tino, and Blaire became lightning rods in these debates, often taking polar opposite stances on what it means to be trans.
Okay, what is your definition of a woman?
That's a tough one because a lot of people have a very specific and narrow definition. But at the end of the day, for me, if you feel like a woman, then you are. There are no rules of how your body needs to be configured. If you are a woman, you are a woman.
We're definitely different. I feel like we process emotions differently than like a biological female would,
Mm-hmm.
partly because we were born males and we have that inherent male mindset. We've experienced it. And then as we transition, we're now experiencing the other side of the fence. But we take into consideration, I feel like so many more things, not in a way that makes us better than, biological female, but
it's just different.
It's different.
It's really distinct. And also, I will never know what it is to be a woman in the sense of anything biological, anything that is innate without my transition, anything that comes without that, I'll never ever know. But on certain cultural things, I can understand a lot, from walking through the world and being perceived that way. So that was one of the things, when you mentioned like the objectification, that's something that I've learned that even aside from that, that's just a woman thing. That's like women walk through the world and they learn by a very young age, actually a disturbingly young age, to be aware of their surroundings, to be tuned into sexual frequencies of men that maybe are, not as obvious, but you have to be tapped into understanding if it's there, assessing threat levels of men. If you stick to a narrative that like, I'm a woman and there's nothing you can say about it, like that's a lot of trans women's narrative. You're not allowing yourself to tap into all the parts of you, which are that biological maleness that like is not the same as before you transition, and no one's saying it is. It has been altered in a way that gives you a unique dynamic perspective. And we lose out on that uniqueness. I have no desire to be a woman. I'm a trans woman, and that's a specific thing.
Now, this isn't about blaming them personally. It's about examining how the style of activism, where everything's a performance, distorts public perception. When people see us arguing, attacking each other about our own identities, they start to think, is this how, the community represents itself? Is this what being trans is about? And that's where we need to draw the line, literally. Chapter 3, the backlash and the rise of transphobia. Transphobes, reaction channels, political commentators use our internal conflicts as ammunition. They take clips out of context and say, see, even trans people can't agree. Even they think it's gone too far. And suddenly people who never cared about trans issues before are forming opinions based off of the most extreme voices they've seen online.
No. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not a sir. Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut when I get called sir. I feel like I need to tell him. I need to tell him that hurt. It hurts more when it's not intentional because it means like this is sir to him.
It hurts more when it's not intentional because this is sir to him. I'm sorry, if you've gone to over 25, 50 restaurants and everybody's saying sir, there's a general theme here and a general consensus that all these strangers see something in you that is clearly identifiable and different than a woman.
Thank you. I'm not, sir.
Not the matching outfit with the dog. You know what? What's unfortunate is that takes a lot of courage. To sit out here, have your dog in a stroller, have a matching outfit with your dog, and going out to eat, you have the camera set up. That does take a lot of courage. And I wish this person flipped that courage and was as confident in who they were and didn't give the time of day to random strangers who are misgendering them. Why are you giving so much of your energy to random people? Why are you being that emotionally weak and easy to be manipulated based off of how you're being perceived by other people? Why is your self-worth dependent on how people look at you as? It does not have to be this way, but instead you're going out of your way to go to these restaurants and you're being called sir, and then you're getting your feelings hurt as if you don't look like a sir.
I have no ill will towards the transgender community at all. In fact, if you look at my body of work, I've always been pretty vociferous in defending them and calling for them to be treated equal to anyone else in society. Sometimes you'll have those who want to like push the limits, and it's never about the important stuff. It's more about things like language. They were turning a lot of people off, including people who were on their side. Just really goofy rhetoric like birthing people and like chest feeder. Did someone call you a birthing person? Yes, in a medical setting, but I don't care. I don't need to be called a birthing person from a doctor. Yeah, and it's on medical forms too now. I don't know if it's all throughout how we ever did. Did you have to put your gender anywhere on the sheet, or was it just birthing person check? Okay, no, it was a form that I had to fill out, and in the language of the form, rather than using the word woman, birthing person was used. Another form used a person with a uterus. I just felt like it was awkward and I didn't like it. That's all I was saying.
Transgender was a... Come on, let's be honest about this.
That's disrespectful.
I really don't care because there are a lot of out there that want me dead because I'm a victim who wants privacy in the bathroom. The F off. I don't care. They want to me and they're not going to.
How would you like it if someone called you out of your name? If they called you a B word or any of that, how would you feel?
These people are calling me a c*** and all these awful names online. Are you kidding me? Come on. They are the most egregious, most vile, violent people on earth. They are mentally ill and should be in a straitjacket with a hard steel lock on.
It's crazy how movements get hijacked when the loudest voices have no real subject matter, and it's just brain rotting filled conversations, and the transphobia that was once hidden in the dark corners starts to look like reasonable concern. While the internet debates pronouns or bathroom bills, real trans people are struggling. Hate crimes against trans individuals are rising globally. Legislations are targeting transgender affirming care, and trans youth are being proposed in dozens of countries. And trans unaliving rates, especially among the youth, have remained heartbreakingly high. But here's the sad truth. The average trans person doesn't get to log offline when things get ugly. They don't have sponsorships or platforms. They just had to live with the fallout of how the world sees them. And that's sad.
As a trans person, I deal with so much hate on a daily basis. So we're just going to talk about absolutely everything that I go through, how I deal with it, whatever, all of that stuff. And yes, I did just get my hair done and I'm obsessed with it. So of course, if you see my comments on TikTok and mostly Instagram, they can get pretty bad. I don't really read them that much. And even when I do read them, I don't really let them affect me because anybody who just hates on somebody else is clearly not happy with who they are and they just feel the need to say something rude. And I cannot imagine being that miserable, and I cannot imagine having that much time to just do that every day. If you've seen my comment section, which I'm sure most of you have, there's quite a variety. There's creepy ones, there's just mean ones, and then there are like the good ones too. And honestly, I appreciate all of them, even if they're bad, because it's just boosting my video. But even the creepy ones, you know what? You guys probably have really good intentions behind it. You don't necessarily think that it could be kind of creepy, but it is. I just don't understand how my life choices are affecting people so much to where they have to be rude about it, because it's literally my life, not theirs. And I'm not going to transition back into a man because someone called me a boy. I don't know if they have that mindset or whatever. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe they're right.
I knew trans girls were fake as fuck and weird when I was transitioning 4 days in. And a girl that I was friends with who was trans for like 4 years prior to me transitioning had called me a man. And she was like, you're never going to be a girl, bitch. You need to stop taking hormones. And that was crazy to me because the 4 years prior to us being friends, she used to always be like, oh, you're so cunt. Your body is so fab. Like, da-da-da. But the second I started taking hormones, all of a sudden I'm a man. It's giving hater. And after that, like, I just knew bitches was weird from there. And that's why now, like, I don't even give a fuck anymore. Like, I don't even give a fuck about, like, having homegirls. Because, like, initially I used to, like, actually make out an effort to have homegirls that were trans. But a lot of these bitches are crazy. And not only are they crazy, they're, like, mean girls and bullies. And there's, like, a certain archetype of a trans woman you have to be in order to fit in with, like, other trans girls. You either have to be, like, vain and superficial as fuck, mean as fuck. Like, you have to constantly gossip about people, call bitches brick, talk about what surgeries you're gonna get, what boys you're gonna fuck, what trades you want. Or just, like, extremely woke, like, extremely, like, oh my God, bitch, I need an electric vehicle, bitch. I need to give my dog a gender reassignment surgery and give my fucking pen pronouns, ho. Like, or you have to be like an e-girl or some shit that wears Amazon skirts and knee-high socks and probably is a she-they lesbian.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys 5 things I hate about being transgender. First up on the list, I would say not being able to relate to a lot of people. And while yes, we are all human beings and yes, we all bleed the same color, at the end of the day, there's a lot of different life experiences that you go through as a trans person that the majority of the population, even other like people in your community, for example, like lesbian women, gay men, like they're not going to experience life the same way as you. Even when you're in a space that is like your community, for example, like at like a gay bar or whatever, like you can still sometimes be completely outnumbered by like cisgender people. Does that make sense? Like as trans people, we only make up like 0.01% of the population, meaning in most rooms you walk into, you're kind of one of the only trans people, if not the only trans person. And sometimes it's like within a whole 20-mile radius, you know what I mean? So definitely I think living as trans can feel very isolating at times just because it's like, you know, you want to talk about this with certain people and, you know, you want to vent about this. And it's like, unless the person you're talking to about your experiences is also a trans person, like they're not really ever going to get it. ever. Like, you're kind of on your own a lot, like with a lot of the things you go through. And it sucks sometimes. Next on the list, I would say the stigmatization of it all / troubles with dating. So in case you've been living under a rock, you would know that trans people, we are a very stigmatized group of people, meaning that people who want to date us have to be well aware of the fact that like it can tarnish their reputation in some instances to be seen or caught dating one of us. And the two things in my opinion kind of go hand in hand, at least for me. Being someone who is part of a very stigmatized group definitely gives me struggles when it comes to dating. Sometimes even making friends, because sometimes like it's like people might even want to be your friend, but then it's like, oh, but you can't come over because my dad doesn't like trans people, or like, oh, like, you know, you're not invited to the slumber party because, you know, you're this and I'm this. Like, you know what I mean? Like having to live surrounded by such a stigma around the label of who I am as a person can be very, very draining. Number 3 on the list would have to be the obsession with passing and gender dysphoria. Again, these kind of go hand in hand because I have definitely went through a lot of ups and downs in my transition, and I've definitely had moments in transition where I second guessed my own transition a lot because I didn't feel that I was passing well enough and being able to fit this like cisgender heteronormative kind of mold of a woman, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of other girls can relate when I say that. And I think when you become super obsessed with passing, it can kind of eat you alive, honestly. And it also triggers your dysphoria because you feel like when you're not passing or fitting the mold perfectly of a cisgender girl, like you start to second guess every feature about yourself and you start thinking that you look more masculine, or you start comparing, or you should look more feminine in your transition, or you should look a certain way in your transition, when it's like, girl, we all need to take a breath and just realize that we're doing the best that we can. And y'all can tussle with me in the comments all you want about this one. Being about 5 years and some change deep in my transition, I can honestly say, I feel like the obsession with passing in your transition isn't healthy. Because again, it triggers your dysphoria even more when you become so obsessed with trying to fit the mold of being something you're not. Like, sorry to get controversial, but it is true. Like, at the end of the day, we are transgender women. We are not cisgender women. And I think, like, it kind of does cause you some sort of distress and misery in transition at some point when your whole transition becomes about passing. And it also makes you way more dysphoric. So I hate that. Number 4 on the list would have to be constantly having my gender questioned. At the end of the day, I don't really care what anyone says. This is my opinion, though. Obviously, part of gender is socially constructed. First of all, why do trans people even exist if, like, there's no way to, like, live as a different gender than what you were assumed to be when you were born? Like, hello? Like, part of it is socially constructed, obviously. And I would say I definitely deal with this more as a more openly / more visible trans woman, is that, you know, obviously, my presentation is very much giving mujer, very much giving woman. But at the end of the day, like, since I'm open about being trans, and when I come in contact with people who know that I'm trans, and even here online, people are just so quick to be like, well, you were born this, this, and this, and your chromosomes are this, this, and this, and that's always going to be how it is. And that is just something that, unfortunately, all of us, at least those of us who are open about our transness, are probably always going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives. And honestly, that shit is annoying. Like I'm admitting it. Like, that is very annoying. Like, because it's like, I have been living this way for years now. I put a lot of effort and a lot of work into my transition at this point, and it's just, again, it can just become very draining when it's like the core of who I am and who I identify is constantly up for debate in other people's eyes. And the last thing on this list would have to be the hormone mood swings. The girls that get this one really get this one. And while this is definitely something that I would say is definitely more obvious, like when you first start hormones, obviously because your body's not used to the medication yet, and like, you know, it just changes your brain chemistry and stuff. I still get this sometimes. I still have hormone mood swings where my hormones get out of whack and just start going a million miles per hour. And like, it's crazy. It feels like I'm literally like losing my marbles. It's not even funny. Like sometimes, like if I forget to take it for a day or two and then I take the hormones, like here we go, roller coaster of emotions starting over again. And that is very annoying.
One of the hardest part about transitioning that I feel a lot of trans girls don't talk about enough is it feels like you're in a race. Like, for example, if you feel like you don't have hips, if you feel like you don't have boobs, if you feel like you don't have the hourglass curvature figure, and you open up Instagram and you see a trans girl and she has like the big hips, she has the big boobs, like she has the flawless skin, then you see her caption like, on my way to the Hamptons to see my sugar daddies. And I'm the type of bitch where I have a luxurious lifestyle, but I'm funding it all myself. I'm so afraid of like losing money or like not having money and going back to living home and not having like my own independent lifestyle that I want, that I will keep working and never have a day off, and I literally don't have a social life. I have no friends. I've been out here in Seattle for over a year. My teeth is not straight, obviously, and it pisses me off. And anytime when I'm talking, I try not to smile too much because anytime I'm talking to somebody, I feel like they're judging me based off of my teeth because my gap is kind of like apparent. So it's kind of like, well, damn, now I gotta kind of work a lot to make sure I can fund that. It gets a little difficult sometimes, like, and you can't help it because you feel like you're in a race. Like you feel like, on one hand, you're like, well, let me not compare myself to somebody else because obviously that's not going to be good for my mental health. But on the other hand, it's like, you can't help but to compare because this is literally your lifestyle. Like, it's not like everybody in the world is trans, you know? Like, this lifestyle is kind of like exclusive. Like, only the people that's in the lifestyle will understand certain things that other people that's not in it wouldn't. So it's almost like, you know what I mean? Like, we're all a family even though we don't know each other. So usually when we see somebody else kind of like have their body, it's almost like, well, damn, bitch, like, you know, like, I want my hips, like, you wearing your skirt, I'm still putting my butt pads in.
Chapter 4, what can we do better? So what we can do as a community, for starters, we can hold our creators accountable without hate. We can stop rewarding drama and start supporting voices that actually inform, educate, and unite the community and guide them through life. We can remember that the trans community is not a brand, it's people. People who deserve compassion, complexity, and a chance to define themselves. The downfall of the trans community isn't inevitable, but we have to be honest about what's happening, both inside and outside of it. If we want to stop the spread of transphobia, we need to look at how we talk, how we act, how we show up for each other, girl. My bad for my ghetto stuttering. Because at the end of the day, we're all fighting for the same thing, the right to live and the right to be loved and to be seen as human beings. I want to die knowing that I made an impact in this world, and I want to die knowing that I can help people just like me love and accept themselves and appreciate themselves. You're beautiful and you're not alone. So get up and chase your dreams. Don't let someone else's words define who you are. You shine bright like a diamond in any room that you walk in. And I don't care if someone doesn't see the beauty in that message. I'm sending it regardless. I'm black and I'm trans and I'm beautiful and I respect and honor myself. And you should love yourself whether who you are, what you is. I don't know, girl. I'm ghetto. Get up into it. But live your life freely. Live your life you. Just be who you are. You only live once in this world. And literally, if you want to make an impact in this world, if you want to be famous, you can't be famous. You can't, you can't have no type of emotion if you laying in bed pouting and complaining about your life. You had to want change. And in order to want change, you had to chase that change. You had to put in the effort to that change. You cannot sit over here and, what is the word, call it? You can't sit over here and like self-sabotage yourself and not chase your dreams. Literally, you want a new job? Go get that job. Go apply for several applications. You can't say, oh, it's hard out here, girl. It's going to be hard regardless. It ain't changing no time soon, girl. No tea, no shade. I love you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I know this video was very short. Get up into it. Hello. But I love you guys. Stream Nicki Minaj. My name is Alizea. Get up into the big part or whatever. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.